that a new era has in fact dawned for the Jewish people. We must feel ourselves responsible for the totality of Israel's needs for which it looks to world Jewry, and not only that of fundraising, but also trade and other support. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been privileged with a unique experience in these last few days while we have been in Israel. Today, we were on the Golan. Those of us who were here last week were fortunate enough to go to Sinai and to Africa. We have been to visit the wounded soldiers in hospital. The courage of the boys who saved this country and the entire Jewish people is unbelievable. I am sure you share with me that tremendous feeling of inadequacy. What do we do living outside this country that can come near to the contribution made by its citizens? However, I feel that their example, the example of the boys in the Golan, on the canal, should in fact inspire us to greater efforts and give us greater purpose. And so I ask you all tonight to pledge. First, to pledge the time necessary to help us achieve the financial target that we have set ourselves. Second, to pledge that those of us who have been privileged to share in these 4 days will return bringing other people on JIA missions and will return to visit the country and to trade with the country. And thirdly, I want the pledge for the future. Israel will need vast financial support in the future, more on the lines of this appeal than the appeals of the past. And so we have to see that that support is there. In fact, we in this room must see that we provide it. In the past, we forgot the emotion we felt when we were here. We got tired. There will be no room for forgetfulness or tiredness in the future. We will have to see that we shoulder whatever responsibility is laid on us by our fellow Jews in this country, and let us face the fact we have the wherewithal to do it. And finally, I must come back to a thought that I dwelt on earlier. We must take back the message of what we have seen to our community in Britain. And we must take it back in the one relevant way that we understand, and re-inspire our appeal to reach the required level by the example of our own increased giving. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a few words from Mr. Ezra Shapiro, Chairman of the Keren Hayesod.
Madam Prime Minister, Your Excellencies, Ministers of the Government of Israel, Ambassadors, distinguished rabbis, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to say a word of tribute and appreciation to you who have come to be with us in these very historic, meaningful days. From all over the world, from all the Jewish communities of the world, we've had our friends anxious to come here to share our experiences, to be in our midst. This was especially meaningful to us because, as you know, in these past few weeks, we've experienced an isolation on the part of some erstwhile friendly governments, not so friendly governments, enemy governments, unparalleled in our own history, for all sorts of reasons, venal, cruel, evil reasons in most cases. I have a feeling that British Jewry understands the meaning of this. I'm sure many of you remember the Battle of Britain, and those who are too young to actually remember it have studied it and know the meaning of the isolation that Britain experienced in that period of history. Ringing in the ears of those who lived in that period and down through history are the words of Churchill when he uttered the characterization of the life of Britain in those hours as a life characterized by blood, sweat, and tears. Here in Israel, in the last 6 weeks, we've experienced the sweat on the part of the civilian population, the burdens that have been imposed, and I'm not going into it this evening, are very difficult, economic, financial burdens, but we've experienced the shedding of blood, the loss of lives, and the tears that have followed. A veil of tears on the part of courageous parents, wives, brothers, and sisters. And the reaction the whole world over, in every Jewish community, has been one of universal solidarity. From the day after Yom Kippur, when under the guidance of the finance minister, in cooperation with Mr. Dulchin, the chairman of the Jewish Agency, and whatever little part I may have played as world chairman of Keren Isod, there has been a mobilization for financial help throughout the world Jewish community, unparalleled, I'm certain, in all Jewish history. And perhaps the finest contribution made throughout the world was that made by your Jewish community, steeped in Zionist tradition. The Keren Isod, as you know, was founded in England in 1921, and in recent years under the leadership of men such as Mr. Seif and Chaim Morrison, and now, as has been mentioned by Mr. Sacker, under the spirited, charismatic, endless energy of Trevor Chin and his colleagues, and above all, under the loving, charming, meaningful, daily guidance of your own chairman, Michael Sacker, you have won for yourself a permanent record in the financial support of our struggle and all that goes with it, and even in the more important and profound significances of that financial support. It has been a tremendous contribution of great solace and comfort and help to the state of Israel. And in recognition of this effort and this support, we want to present to you tonight, Mr. Sacker, to the United Israel Appeal of the United Kingdom, our token, I don't want to even say gratitude, because you people have said it over and over again, that measured by what has occurred here, one can't speak in terms of gratitude, appreciation for your deep understanding, attachment, involvement, and devotion to our cause. You're entitled to know that in all the countries except the United States, the Karen-I-Sode has somehow mustered pledges of over $400 million, cash of over $250 million. Throughout the United States, you've seen the figures that the minister has issued, Minister Sapir. In the United States, except for bonds, $600 million, some $350 million in cash. The effort has been a tremendous one, a hugely successful one. But forever may it be known that in this effort, the Jewish community of the United Kingdom has excelled par excellence. And tonight, in recognition of its extraordinary support of the people of Israel in their hours of struggle for security and peace, I'm privileged for the government of Israel, the Jewish Agency, and Karen-I-Sode United Israel Appeal to present to Mr. Sacker this slight token of appreciation, an archaeological find some 1,900 years old from the days of the Second Temple, the first century of the Common Era, an extremely interesting oil or gas container, which we will exhibit, oil container, not gas, to Mr. Sacker. And one last sentence, and then I shall present it. As has been indicated, we are far, far, far from through. And the one element upon which we can and must rely is the world Jewish community, of which you are a part. We are certain that your support, your loyal support and devotion will continue. Chizku v'yimtzu. God bless you.
And as my friend Carmela Yadin said to me every time I turned to anything today, throughout the journey, 3rd century BC. What can I say? We didn't need it. It will go into our Weizmann room in Rex House as a symbol of being part of one thing, and as a memory, perhaps, for some in the future. And ladies and gentlemen, I think that concludes the official part of our dinner tonight. I forgot how to I do apologize.
Yehudi homia olfate mizrach Kadima, Ayin Letzion Tzofia, Orlo Avda Tikvatenu, Ha-Tikva Shnot HaPayim, Liotam Chavchi Be'artzenu Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim, liotam chavshi be'artzenu Eretz Zion Yerushalayim.
We have faith in Israel. What do we do with this? Senator Haaretz, I have.
Yes.
Well, darling, what can I do?
Shalom. I enjoyed your company. Thank you.
What a speech.